Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Sales Podcast. This is Wes Schaefer, the Sales Whisperer, your host. I think we're in for a first. I've had several doctors. I've had PhDs. I've had medical doctors. I've had doctors of chiropractic. But this time, we have a doctor in physics. This dude is smart. He's been making money online for at least a decade. He built up a successful business, sold it, got into some other things, didn't like it, got into some other things, figuring it out. But he has the flexibility and the freedom to dabble, to experiment, to test. Now he's got a team that is focused. We're going to talk about how he gets them to focus, how they determine what to focus on. And we cover it all in this episode of the Sales Podcast. Now, if you are wanting additional help, if you'd like to dive deeper, if you'd like my input, my insight, my feedback, as well as that of others who are motivated, who have invested in themselves, then join the Make Every Sale program. You're probably hearing some of the gurus talking about how Facebook groups are changing. Some guys and gals are killing off their groups. And, you know, it all changes. Nothing stays the same. But when people invest money, then you know it has their attention. So that's why we charge to be in the Make Every Sale course. Everyone in there is motivated to grow. There's not a bunch of hemming and hawing, right, and jaw flapping going on. It's motivated entrepreneurs and salespeople that are looking to grow. That's why they're attentive, they're courteous, people give of their time freely. So why not join us? MakeEverySale.com. 41 videos are recorded professionally, had professionally produced. You will like it. They're good stuff. But then a ton of supplemental content I'm always adding to the group, as well as the 2 or 3 times a week or a month that we get on a live interactive call. So join us. Join us now while it's still a lifetime access before it goes to an annual. You'll be glad you did. MakeEverySale.com. The doctor will see you now. Doctor Amit Mehta, I did some research on you, man. I didn't know I was sitting in the presence of royalty. Welcome to the Sales Podcast. How the heck are you?
Oh, PhD, not like a medical doctor or anything.
Yeah, but in physics, good grief, man. That means you're smart. Or stubborn, right? You just stick with it till you get it?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's no joke. So you go from getting a PhD in physics to being an entrepreneur. How the heck did that happen?
Well, I got my PhD and then I started working in place at MIT Lincoln Labs. It's here where I live in Massachusetts, in Lexington, just suburbs of Boston.
Sure. And
I hated it. I hated working there. Didn't like my boss. Didn't like my coworkers. Job was a complete drag.
So, all right. Well, plenty of people have hated their jobs. They still haven't launched multiple businesses and done multiple millions in sales. So you got to fill in the gaps a little more.
So that was kind of my motivating aspiration to, start my own business, is because I didn't like my job. So at the time I was working there, I discovered something called affiliate marketing.
Okay.
And for viewers who may not know what that is, it's basically when you work with a merchant, you get an affiliate link, and then whoever you refer to that link, and they make a purchase, you make money from that.
Right.
So it's kind of like being like a salesperson, but on crack, because you can use internet marketing to massively increase your sales. So I started that, and first 2 years, even before I got my job at MIT, I didn't have a lot of success. I had no idea what I was doing. And then I discovered I spent like a year making this website, and I was getting 2 unique visitors a week. And then I discovered Google AdWords and paid search and pay-per-click and Yahoo, and even before they had Bing, it was Overture before, in those days.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And on AdWords, you can go on there and you can literally get clicks for pennies on the dollar. You pay like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cents a click.
Right.
And that's how I started. I started driving affiliate traffic with AdWords, and within 9 months, I quit my job.
Oh, wow.
So it took off very quickly. And then, of course, there were some ups and downs. Like a funny story is that, and a good lesson is, I quit my job, and around the same time, there's something went wrong with the affiliate offer I was promoting, and my profits went to zero.
Oh.
Literally 1 week after I submitted my resignation, my profits went to zero.
So was it just a little glitch, and you figured it out, or?
Well, I had to make a decision at that point. I had to either say, okay, well, am I going to go back to the job world, or am I going to burn my bridges and make a decision that I'm going to make this work no matter what?
Right.
And you can guess what I did. I burnt my bridges, and I made a decision that I'm going to make this work no matter what. And within 30 days, I got 40% of my profits back. And a year later, I was making. That following year, I made a high six-figure income from my affiliate efforts.
And what year was this?
That was 2007.
Okay.
I quit my job in 2006.
Okay.
And so my affiliate income took off. The first year was slow, was up and down, but I finally found something that worked really well, and it just exploded. I did really well with that, and it was awesome. It was like some of the best years of my life up to date. I was traveling the world, and I was newly married, just married a couple of years. So my wife and I were traveling the world. I started a blog called Super Affiliate Mindset, where I talk about my strategies. I started speaking in industry conferences. And so it was good. The biggest lesson from that was, persistence. I didn't give up.
Right.
I struggled for a year, made no money, and then finally it took off, and then my income went away after I quit my job, but I kept pushing forward, and I was persistent.
So what has stayed the same since then? Because 2006, 2007, it was still kind of the Wild West on bidding, and things are so competitive now, right? Can people still make it as an affiliate marketer today? Yeah, but the strategy is totally different, and the traffic sources are different.
It's affiliate marketing. What I noticed, I've been doing it on and off for years. What I've noticed is that the industry radically has changed since I started. Back then you just did search on AdWords, you got 5-cent clicks, and you had no tracking, no optimization. You just, tested a bunch of ads and hoped you made a profit. But it was the clicks were so cheap, it didn't matter,
Right. Sure.
And nowadays it's a very sophisticated game where it's a lot more about analytics, testing different traffic sources, optimizing. Back in those days, you can make an instant profit. Nowadays, it's pretty common to lose money for weeks,
right,
before you can turn a profit.
Yeah.
So it is much harder, but there's still as much opportunity, and the upside is still there.
Okay.
Break in and make it work, then you can do very well.
So, should people look at other things? Is there a new, what's the Wild West today, right? What's happening today that's reminiscent of the market in 2006? Is it artificial intelligence or bots or, Snapchat marketing? All that seems to be gone.
I would say native advertising.
Okay.
Basically Outbrain, Rev Content, Taboola. Basically, native advertising is like the cross between content marketing and banner ads. So you have an ad, which is a picture, and you have some text underneath it, and it goes to a content page. And then so you can create a site, content page, and then that links to an affiliate offer.
Okay.
So your content page is basically a pre-sale page. So there's huge amounts of traffic and opportunity in native advertising, and there's less of a burden to break in there. They're a lot more lax with what they allow in terms of marketing.
Okay.
It's a lot easier to break in. I personally like Rev Content and Outbrain a lot. I've had success with both of those channels in the past.
Outbrain, and what's the other?
Rev Content.
Rev, like REV?
Yeah, REVcontent.com.
Okay. So, yeah, I've looked at those. I've been contacted by Outbrain. Are you creating your own content, or is it kind of like like Medium? You put your content on their platform and they advertise, or like walk us through that.
Well, there's a couple ways of doing it. I mean, the way I've done it in the past for lead generation is I create my own site, create my own content, and then pre-sell them to click through to the affiliate offer. For example, it might be a site which, generates an insurance lead or refinance or mortgage lead.
So it's your site. So are you making sites about insurance?
Well, I'll make an umbrella site that covers a lot of different topics.
Okay.
Like maybe a site about finance, and then I can have a page about auto insurance and a page about, mortgage, refinancing your mortgage, another page about, whatever it may be, health insurance or whatever it may be.
Right. But then are you syndicating that to the Outbrain platform, or are you buying an ad through Outbrain? Is Outbrain kind of like Google Display Network, basically? You buy an ad.
It's like a sophisticated banner ad,
Right.
But they just tend to do really well. If you find the right sites with native ads, and you find the right creative and ad, and you can do really well. You can get a high click-through rate. You can get. I've done very well with native ads on both those platforms.
Why is it called native advertising? Because the ad is still placed on.
It looks like it looks like a news article or content site. It looks like a content that belongs to the site. It doesn't look like an ad.
Oh, gotcha. So it's almost like an advertorial in a way?
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. I got to dig into that, man. I've seen it, but so many things, right? So many stones to turn over, so many frogs to kiss. Like, how do you know what's going to work? How do you know what is the next best thing in sales and marketing?
Well, the biggest thing is it's the same thing with I've built businesses, I've done affiliate marketing, and it's the same process. You kind of look at what your competitors are doing and having success with, and that's where you go.
Okay.
You kind of see what products they're promoting, what products they're selling, what marketing, what creatives they're using, what landing pages they're using, what marketing strategy they're using, what sales channels are driving their sales from. The same type of methodology you would thought process you'd have if you're building a business in the sales process.
Well, I always tell people, look at what your competition is doing and then do the opposite. But I guess in the world of paid traffic, if you see the same ad in Google AdWords along the top and it's there for days and weeks and maybe even months, then that's probably a good ad that should emulate it somehow, right?
Yeah, you could try a different angle and a different approach, but initially, to break into a market, I recommend just basically modeling what your competition is doing.
Right.
And then once you got a handle on the market, then you can test different angles and approaches.
Yeah. And then, so like you mentioned, insurance, finance. How do you decide an industry? Because that's not your background, right? But did you look around and realize everybody's needs insurance? Everybody's got to get their investment squared away. Is it a big enough umbrella that you knew that there was room for you to break into, or how did you decide that niche?
Well, it's just a matter of systematic testing different niches and seeing what had the best return on investment. It's the concept, if you ever read the book, Great by Choice by Jim Collins, is that you fire bullets before you fire cannons.
Right.
So within any company, they might want to, test different ideas or products or services. So you find you create a minimum viable product. In this case, creating a small affiliate campaign, and then test different offers, different products, and see what perform the best, and then focus your energy on those.
Right. So most entrepreneurs are probably going to struggle with that model, which I guess is why most entrepreneurs struggle.
It's the idea of pivoting, if you put all your resources into one product or service, you want to put you want to put a few resources in as possible so you can at least test that it's going to work.
Right.
And then if it doesn't work, either modify, tweak the product and get it to work, or you might realize this is a totally wrong approach and completely take a big pivot and, try something else.
How do you juggle, though, or balance the tendency to, most entrepreneurs get this paralysis analysis, right? They're entrepreneurs, they're dreamers, right? They're the big vision people. They're not going to sit there and do split testing and analytics and blah, blah, blah. Like, I know this is right. We're going all in, versus, hey, you better slow down and do some research. So how do you balance paralysis analysis, studying too much versus, finally pulling the trigger and jumping in?
Well, you can always be passionate about the bigger vision. If your goal is to, make money on Facebook or whatever type of business you may have. So that might be a bigger vision, is to create a product or service that you can sell online that, targets a particular niche, but don't get too married to the specific product or service that you're promoting or developing, because it may not work. And honestly, the way I approach it is, if it's not already proved, I'd rather be a passenger than a pioneer, because a pioneer is always a guy, with arrows in his back at the side of the road, There's always a guy that gets crushed. Google was not the first company to make a search engine.
Yeah.
And Facebook was not the first social network.
Right.
I like going into something that has a proven viability.
Right.
If other people aren't making money with that strategy or that product or service or whatever, I'm not going to promote it. It's too risky.
Right. But I want to be Elon Musk. I got to go to Mars. I'm going to go to Jupiter. I got to be the first one to go to Jupiter. That's the only way to get rich, man.
Well, you might want to have some small successes before you. If you already had a series of successes, then you can work your way up to that. But if you're just starting out, then you might want to stick on Earth.
Right. Now, are you doing any type of consulting for clients? Is that part of your business at all? Or
I did. I was a turnaround specialist. Did that mostly through end of 2015 to 2016, and then I went off my own. Consulting is not my thing.
Right. I hear you.
I was able to turn a company around, and it was a success.
How were they? What mistakes were they making? What did you help them identify? And do you see that as a common theme, just even in companies? People
I can't talk about the industry or the company, because I'm under a strict confidentiality agreement. Right. But I can talk in more general terms.
Yeah.
The company was grossly mismanaged. The management was horrible. There were people fighting and bickering constantly. They had middle managers that were not accountable, were not setting deadlines, were not getting things done. It was basically like a dog chasing its tail. The company was losing $80,000 a month. I had to shut down divisions of the company, or just bleeding money. That had no viability. And so we had to I had to lay off a huge portion of the staff, and then refocus the company towards, just generating, positive cash flow.
Right.
And, just changing the whole management style to, having specific people, installing accountability, who, what, when, weekly and daily huddles with daily goals that we'd go over, weekly goals and monthly goals, recreate a vision for, turning the company around from where it was, because the strategy it was using was not working. So we basically had to create a new entity, a new company with a new brand to get it to work, because the old company had so much brand damage and a lot of negative press from the past. So we just could not salvage that. We just had to scrape it, and that was it turned out to be like the worst case scenario, where we had to basically start a new company, clean and fresh.
Right.
it was a software company, and we had the software, the code was 10 to 15 years old. Had not been updated, so we had to rebuild all the code from scratch.
Yeah. So does that work? Like I think of AT&T becoming singular, and then they go back to AT&T. I mean, do people like just eventually forget that singular is AT&T? So if they hated AT&T, now they'll fall in love with singular?
Well, those are major brands. So, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, in this case, we had, a new company, new branding. The branding was totally different. Name was totally different. And I mean, it was total. The software looked very different. It did not look anything like the original.
Right. Okay. Now, so you mentioned like the goals and stuff. Do you? I wrote a blog post a long time ago. I need to go dig it back up, but basically talking about, your big, hairy, audacious goals, your BHAGs are killing you. Because I see so many people that they focus on this big thing, right? We're going to drain the ocean, and give people free land that used to be in the water, right? And it's like, well, maybe you should start with like, can you drain a swimming pool first, right? Can you realistically drain a bathtub? They get these big visions, but they don't realize all the little steps, right? Because honestly, running a business a lot of times can be quite mundane, right? It's like you got to do 20 steps
day to day, yeah,
right, every day,
yeah.
And so, do people focus too much on the big vision and lose sight of what has to be done every day?
Yeah, it depends. I mean, there's the concept of the visionary and the operator. So some people are inclined to be visionaries. If you're a visionary, you need to either hire somebody or partner somebody who's an operator, who's good at the day-to-day, good at, doing the daily huddles, managing the team, keeping people accountable, driving the productivity of the company and accomplishing, what needs to be done today and this week and this month, while the visionary focuses on the big ideas,
Does a successful company need both?
Yeah. And it's usually different people.
Yeah, for sure. So you got out of consulting, and what's next? What's lighting your fire right now?
Well, I got some ideas for SaaS companies that I'm going to start. I'm right now focused on affiliate marketing, just because it's just such a lucrative opportunity that I'm so good at, that I have a lot of experience with.
Right.
And I want to get that going, and then I'll take a lot of the revenues I generate from that. I'm going to invest into developing, and I already have some partners in place that are going to help me selling software, selling a SaaS offer, specifically B2B.
Help you sell the solution or sell the company once you create it?
Well, we're going to sell the software, get it up to maybe couple million a year EBITDA, and then maybe less actually, but get it up to a significant, grow it, and then our goal is to sell it. Right.
So, did you pretty much stop your affiliate marketing? Are you starting from scratch, or did you?
I'm doing it right now.
Running.
I'm actively doing it right now.
Like starting.
I've been doing it a long time. I jumped back in the industry's had a bit of a renaissance, so I decided to jump back in.
Oh, good. So, because of new platforms like native advertising, or what?
Native advertising, Google went through a period where they're draconian on affiliates, so they've loosened up, and they're a lot more reasonable to work with now. And of course, there's Facebook too, which is a huge opportunity if you know what you're doing.
Right. So, I mean, essentially, like I'm an affiliate of, Infusionsoft, of HubSpot. I mean, I'm a certified partner, so it goes beyond being an affiliate, but companies like that have restrictions on, I can't bid on their names. So are you just finding like other lucrative companies? I mean, is it as simple as like going to Commission Junction, finding something that you like and driving traffic, or you get
No, you have to. I recommend market research tools like What Runs Where and AdBeat.com. You really have to see what your competitors, what's really your competitors are pushing and promoting. So basically, I look at the market research, I see what other people are doing successfully, and then those are the verticals and products and services I will go into.
So that makes sense. So you'll see what are they doing?
Yes, you could test 100 different products and not have any success. It's just there's a lot of variables involved. Right. You got to know the product, the landing page, the ads, the traffic source, and that's just step one. Because then you got to create all that and then make it profitable.
Yeah, because you have to create the content on your own, right? So you're driving traffic to your own page, and then are you linking to the company that you're an affiliate of from there?
Yeah, or sometimes I'll directly link to the site, depending on what works best. Typically I'll have my own site, and then I'll link them to the pre-sale, and then I'll link them to, or there's also different business models, in the affiliate world. So there's also the Shopify model where you can create a Shopify site, which is your own site.
Yep.
Using Shopify.
Sure.
And you can drop ship products. You can sell products through Alibaba and then drop ship them to people.
Right.
So they order the product, and then you just order it. You have a VA, you hire a VA, they order the product and have it shipped right to whoever orders it.
Right.
You can sell jewelry, T-shirts, what have you.
Yeah, because if it's drop shipped, you're processing the customer's order, which is nice because you get their info. Like Amazon.
Yeah, you basically build a buyer's list. Yeah.
Yeah, because like Amazon, the downfall is you sell through there, but they keep all the information.
Yeah. Exactly. So you can't do email marketing, which is a huge drag.
The nice thing there is they buy from you. The bad thing is you now have to essentially recreate that order. And unless they have some type of advanced like API or webhooks or something, you have to manually duplicate that order, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you got staff.
So there's a lot of, I dabbled with it a little bit, and I have a site, but there's a lot of opportunity. There's people doing extremely well with that model.
Yeah. And I'm seeing a good bit around that as well. A little more now than I've seen in recent memory. So Shopify is overall, it's an elegant platform regardless. So,
I mean, you think about what's happening in the general economy. We have retail stores going bankrupt left and right because of e-commerce, because people are buying everything online now.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, using their mobile phones.
Using their phones?
Yeah, using their mobile phones.
Yeah, in your store, right? They call that show floor. I forget. It's like show flooring or something. Where basically you walk into their showroom, or maybe it's called showrooming. I don't know. But basically, you're in there. Oh yeah, look at those speakers. Boom! Like you scan it. Yeah, it's $200 here. I can get on Amazon Prime for $180. Boom! They order one. Thank you, and then they walk that out.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what? What just happened there?
Retailers are just getting hammered. If they're not shifting their business model online, they're not going to survive.
Yeah, it's crazy. So you had mentioned SaaS companies. So do you launch multiple things at once, or do you have one in mind? You're going to do that one, and you have like one after that you move to?
Well, I have one thing in mind right now.
Yeah.
Just do one thing at a time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds funny, but I got to ask the question, right? Because there's dreamers out there. I can do everything. I can do anything, and they spread themselves too thin. And you see it all the time. People, they have 18 projects, and all of them are somewhere between 30% and 82% done, but you can't launch till you're 100%, so they never launch.
Yeah.
They take on too much.
You want to focus on one thing and get it working. And really, if you're starting out, I mean, you got to think of, it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert at something. Find an area that you're really passionate about or really are good at. Whether it's designing products or doing marketing or whatever, and then build your business model around that concept. Like I'm good at software. So I built a software company. We've hit the Inc. 5000. And so I'm good at, like building development teams, designing, creating software. And so that's why my next company will be a SaaS company, because my previous company was also a SaaS company. And so I've experienced in that area, and so I'm leveraging that experience.
Sure. Well, because you're good at SaaS, you should, get in the swimming pool manufacturing business. That's what real entrepreneurs do, man. They branch out.
You want to take whatever strengths you have and leverage those.
Right.
If you go into something completely different, then your chances of success are much lower.
Right. So one thing I'd like to ask, my guests is, towards the end here, think of our listeners. They're on a plane, they're jogging, they're in a car, they can't take notes. They're just listening right now. What would you have them do? They're a small business owner, an entrepreneur, maybe a salesperson out there hustling. What should they do as soon as they get done listening to this? And they can get to their desk, to plan a better future, right? To have more success at sales, at business. What's kind of your go-to strategy or secret tip for hitting your goals?
I think one tip that's really transformed my productivity is write down every day the 5 most important things you need to get done.
Okay.
And then put it on a sticky pad like this. I also do this weekly, so I have a calendar, and I put the 5 most important things I need to get done, and those should include activities that will actually, it can't be like ordering business cards or whatever. It has to be activities that are actually going to move the needle on your business and actually bring in money.
Right.
So put them down and then stick them, place them somewhere you see it that's in front of you all day.
Okay.
So I have a planner here, and my to-dos are there every day. So I see them, they're right in front of me. It's right in front of me on my desk. And I see it all day, and it's staring at me. And I'll go through and I'll check off each. Like I have our interview here at 5:30. I've just checked it off.
Right.
So just a simple thing like that. And this is what I did with my team too. Actually, I had them. We did our daily huddles. I had them say out aloud, what are your top 5? What's up and where you stuck. So the what's up part was, what are your top 5 mission critical items you need to complete today.
Yeah.
And then I would follow up with them and say, hey, and I'd go through the list, because the list was pasted on Basecamp or whatever project management system you use. So it was pasted up there. It's like, hey, how's item A? How's item B? And I'd follow up with them once or twice a day.
Right. To
go through that list. And the productivity of the company just skyrocketed.
Right.
Because they were just focused on those critical items every day. And it was just about getting the daily items done.
Right.
Versus accomplishing the larger goals.
So what was that?
Discipline yourself to do that, and have it in front of you, and make it like a game. Like, hey, the goal is to check off all these items at the end of the day.
So what is that papyrus pulp based thing you held up in front of the camera? Is that actual?
It's just a notebook.
Is that paper?
Notepad. I don't like fancy software. I want something that's right in front of my monitor.
Like real like pen to paper?
Yeah.
What? I mean, like
use
like this
software.
What?
And write it out with your own hands.
I thought I would use like Google Calendar to my Outlook calendar to an API to Evernote to my CRM back to skywriting and FedEx it to myself over fax. Is that too complicated? That's too much? Where have you been all my life, man? We should have spoken a long time ago.
If you're tracking like what stage of the funnel your leads are in, then use fancy software and stuff. But
right.
I'm talking about
goal setting, planning, accountability. Yep. Amen. Very nice, man. Well, where should we send people to learn more about you, to get in touch with you, to spy on you, see what you're releasing next?
Check out ProfitSwami.com.
ProfitSwami.com. All right, how'd you get that name? Because that's kind of a cool name. How long have you had that?
It's a long story. They came up with it like 10 years ago almost.
Because when I hear Swami, I think of Chris Berman on ESPN. You ever watch him?
No.
Oh, man. All right. So we'll link to that. So Prophet Swami. And then anybody hanging out in Boston, look up Dr. Amit Mehta. But he won't let you know he's a doctor. He's not one of those kind. Well, man, thanks for carving out some time.
Oh, it was an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Getting you out of the heat. I know I did you a favor, let you come inside. Probably, your wife probably had all these honeydews for you. Like, no, honey, I got to come inside. I have to be on an interview. So I'm glad I could help save you from the heat.
Okay. Well, thank you. It's a pleasure.
All right, man. Have a great night.
Thanks, buddy. Bye-bye.
What did you learn there, huh? I love we talked about I'd rather be a passenger than a pioneer. You don't have to invent something brand new. Just make it better, right? That's obviously a viable option for many. Fire bullets before you fire cannons. Create your own site and content. Native advertising. I learned a little bit there. Analytics and optimizing. I keep saying this. I said it with the Michael Hyatt interview years ago, and I still believe in it now more than ever. It's all about creating good content, but then sharing it and driving eyeballs to it. I think it's 10% production, 90% promotion. Most people are not anywhere near that. Most people are 100% product and just hoping word gets out, or maybe 99 product and 1% promotion. You've got to toot your own horn. You got to know what's working and be efficient. So I love how he gets his team focused. The top 5 makes them say it out loud. Discipline, make it a game. That's how you get things done. Stop chasing these shiny objects. You need to focus. That's why I have the Dig Deep program, digdeep.today. I will help you dig deep and figure out what it is you need to be working on. And it's super affordable. digdeep.today. Avail yourself of a little bit of one-on-one with me, and then I'll help you figure out where to go from there. digdeep.today. If you're happy with the group training program, you know where to find it. MakeEverySale.com. Do it now while still lifetime access. Thanks for listening. Please leave a comment. Let me know you're out there. Give us some feedback. Ask a question. And now, go sell something.